it's Daniel Moses here. I'm just here in Tooting where I've come to see my mentee who took on his first rental HMO deal a couple of weeks ago. And it's been a very interesting journey for Nick. And today I've just come to see the property after it's been fully decorated and fully dressed and also now almost fully tenanted. So I'm going to be asking Nick a couple of questions and how the journey has been for him so far. So Nick, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you for coming back to the property. It's been a good journey. It's been four weeks now since we took the keys from the property.
Yep.
We now have it almost fully tenanted.
Great.
So we've got 6 rooms at the moment here in this property. 5 have already been let out already. So we're now looking to kind of get that final tenant in, hopefully within the next week. So that means we'd have it fully tenanted all within 4 weeks. So yeah, it's been fantastic so far.
Wow, amazing. And we managed to do all this during this lockdown, isn't it?
Yeah, so at the moment, obviously, as we know, we're still currently going through the whole coronavirus, COVID-19, as it's slowly getting lifted slowly. When we first took the keys, we wasn't in where we are now, so it was still kind of in the mix of that COVID-19, so we've still been active, so it's been good.
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm going to ask you what could be or what was the 3 major challenges that you went through from when we negotiated the deal, we picked up the keys, and now obviously the property is not fully tenanted. So what would be your number 1 challenge that you faced?
I think the first challenge I would say is the excitement and mixed with anxiety. So you got your mixed feelings. So the first one, when you get the keys, you're excited, you got your first deal. But then it kind of dawns on you a little bit. You're now responsible for running a HMO property, which comes with its legalities and compliance. You're now responsible for providing the rent each month to the landlord. So that was, I think, the first one was an anxiety. And so then I think we got on the phone and I think a week after, and I said, "Damn, man, I'm nervous. I'm worried. I've got to pay this person's rent in the end of the month, £3,200. I'm worried." And then, and obviously having to kind of take on the work as well is quite a big job. So I think, the anxiety, I think, was the first one. I remember the first day or so, I was like an excited young child. Waiting for Christmas, couldn't really sleep. Excited what I'm going to do with the property. So I think you shared a similar story.
Absolutely.
That you went through the kind of same journey. So the first one, I'll say, as it's anxiety and mixed feelings. The second kind of challenge is kind of going over. Obviously, this is the first property, trying to keep costs down to a low minimum. So it's having to kind of take in all that decoration yourself. So you've pretty much done a fantastic job in my opinion. We've decorated the whole house, touched it up here where it needed to be touched up. So for the landlord, it's going to be a benefit having that win-win situation that his property has now been lifted to a higher standard. So the challenge was taking on all that work whilst obviously still having a full-time job as well.
Absolutely.
So it's been fantastic to have the support of my partner as well, which is helping me through that. And the final one is obviously getting it tenanted. Obviously we still, as I mentioned just now, we're going through COVID-19, so the tenant demand in terms of moving hasn't been as what it was maybe a year or so ago. So just kind of working through those challenges, really.
Absolutely. And you've actually managed to deal with it very, very correctly, isn't it?
Yeah, so as I said, obviously proof is in the pudding, as they say. We've managed to let 5 of those 6 rooms. I think the key thing with doing that is kind of being very active. Don't just put it out on the platforms, expect things to be coming to you.
Absolutely.
So we put it on Spare Rooms, the main one that we put it on. But we're continually renewing our advertisement, making sure we're contacting tenants, say, hey, you're interested, we've got this property, come and viewing. And being ready to do kind of speed viewings. So for example, if they say they want to see it tomorrow, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to go.
I mean, that's one of the things that I teach a lot. It's about doing that speed viewings, because it's all good to get excited picking up the keys. But again, if you don't get that property tenanted as quickly as possible, then you're not making profit, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I mean, the good thing was when we negotiated a couple of days rent-free, and on the back of a couple of days rent-free, you managed to actually get your first tenant within about a week or so, and then that kind of reduced the pressure, and now you got just one tenant left to look for, and which couple of days time I'm sure you have all the property fully tenanted, and that kind of put you where you're making profit from month 2, so which is amazing. One of the things I say to a lot of people is the first few weeks when you take on your deal, at least about 3 to 4 weeks turnaround time for you to take on your tenants, or 4 to 3 weeks to actually get the whole property fully tenanted. So you've done amazing well because you're still in June and the property is almost fully tenanted. So it's been a successful deal, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think obviously we've got it tenanted. Well, it's going to be tenanted for 6 people.
Yeah.
But then, as mentioned before, we have that variation that we're going to apply for the license.
Yeah.
So we're going to then hopefully turn it into 7 units.
Yeah.
With 8 people. Hopefully. So at the moment it's a good deal. We'll make about £600 profit per month net. And obviously, if we get that variation to the license, that's going to double that.
Absolutely.
So we're making it into a fantastic deal.
Great. So we talked about your. Obviously, you've done an amazing job. I've looked through the whole property. I couldn't even recognize it when I came in. So good job to you. And you actually painted these rooms yourself, and you did the cleaning and everything.
Yes. Yeah. So got stuck in with this property. So we put a feature wall on all the walls. We sourced the art. We felt what we're kind of looking to do with the properties as well was trying to keep costs down to a low, but also still trying to go to that high end.
Yeah.
So at the moment we're sitting in one of the rooms, so we can see we've got a sofa in this room.
Yeah.
So I really like the high end that we've kind of gone to: sofa, TV, a wardrobe. But what we also did was very kind of careful in terms of what we looked at is looking at second-hand furniture, but still in a high kind of quality. And we found a good deal on spot, which kind of sourced a lot of our furniture from.
Yeah, and this is really classic job. Well done to you, Nick.
Yes.
Well done. So, what would be your 3 most impressive? Something that you're so excited you did very correctly. What would be those 3 things that you think will really tick the boxes for you?
I think in terms of speed, I think we kind of moved very quickly. I think we kind of underestimated how long it would take. But I think once we kind of got that into kind of perspective, we moved very quickly to kind of get the job done. And so we had those first 4 days before we actually started the contract, and we completed 3 of those rooms already and had them listed and had one of those filled. So I think speed was very, very quick, and also managing our costs. I think you can easily get carried away with doing rent to rent, but especially because you don't own the property, you got to make sure that you keep your costs down to a minimum and protect your bottom line.
Fantastic. So we've talked about the first one, so what would the second one be then?
The second one is obviously staying in contact with yourself. Obviously, being my mentor is obviously looking to you for guidance, and you've done a fantastic job. So I really appreciate the support there. So having that guidance and kind of listening to what it is you're saying. Listen to your advice and take that action.
Wow, fantastic! Thank you for that, for listening, because not everybody listens as well.
Yeah, so you can listen, but if you don't take the action that you're being told, then that's the problem.
Taking instruction.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be one of the most difficult things people do, isn't it?
Exactly.
People will always say, "Oh, don't tell me what to do. I think I've got it," and then they go and make a lot of mistakes. So well done to you for listening. So what was your third one? What was that third thing that just kind of gives you a bigger tick?
I think the third and final one is obviously just staying motivated. I think motivation is key, really, especially when. I mean, I said at the beginning, there was times where I felt very anxious.
Yep.
So I think staying motivated and kind of getting through that challenge. And so in terms of when you're feeling low, is obviously to keep your spirits up, surround yourself with the right people, and stay motivated is a key to success.
Wow, that's great. So that's great. I mean, one of the other things that I'd like to ask you is obviously you plugged into the Property Wealth Education Wealth Creation System. And you are not just a mentee now, you're a big team player within the Property Wealth Education. So you've gone through the process, then you made up your mind to become a team member. So what would you say, how has the training process, obviously you came in as a gold client, and how would you say the whole coaching, the mentorship process, how has it enabled you succeed going through this deal?
I think before, when I first started looking into rent to rent, and you're seeing what does rent to rent entail, I can do that. I can learn a few things here on YouTube. I can read a few books. So a lot of that stuff is showing you that the highs of rent to rent, but a lot of stuff that's not showing you behind the scenes, all the little stuff, all the little nitty gritty things, all about your contracts, all the things you have to do there, all the things you have to do with the property, getting it ready. And that's where I think the mentoring kind of has helped myself and my partner kind of get to where we are today. So if I was kind of doing it again, I would definitely say get into mentorship a lot earlier, make you move quicker, and make you accountable for your actions. So mentoring has been fantastic.
Great. How has it also helped you in taking your deal, taking your first deal? Obviously, you managed to take up a few contracts in terms of managing contracts that generated you money before actually taking this first as your own rent-to-rent. What would you say about that?
I think being part of property wealth education, part of the mentoring program, especially being a new company, being part of that gives you leverage.
Absolutely.
So obviously when we were speaking to the estate agent, say, well, you're a new company, we used to go for referencing, and that's we had that challenge. Is obviously now being part of the property wealth education system, we can use that leverage. Okay, this company we've been surrounded, been established, for many years, and obviously kind of gives that credibility, so you can kind of take care of the property, and having that, it obviously helped us kind of get this particular deal.
Fantastic. So in my final words, so what would you want to say to anyone watching us right now? What would be those final words in terms of mentorship, coaching, what you've been through, and property wealth education? What have you got to say to them?
I think if you're going to do rent to rent, kind of get involved, take action, plug into the system. So with property wealth education, we have the rent to rent accelerator, which is going to give you a high level view of what rent to rent is. Come on that, book onto that session, and we'll show you what rent to rent is. But most importantly, if you're serious about rent to rent, is take action, take guidance and mentorship. Because it's helped myself, it helped my partner kind of get to where we are today. As I said to you before, we're looking to take on 4 within this year.
And I said
and
6.
You said, why are you going to stop at 4 if it takes to 6? So I said, we pretty much have 1 room left to fill in here.
Yeah.
The help and support of yourself, Dan, we're looking to move on to the next one, and then hopefully get 6 by the end of the year. So it's all about taking action, and as I said, I advise anyone to kind of jump on board.
Thank you so much for watching. So as I said, it's been a successful journey for Nick. So for those of you who are thinking about getting started, follow me on social media on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and also we have one of the fastest growing community specialized for rent to renters only. So it's called the Rent to Rent Property Network. It's quite massive on Facebook. So plug into that community. A lot of content, a lot of interviews being done with people like Nick, people who are semi-pro, and just anyone. And we're giving a lot of information out there. And also we run a monthly Rent to Rent Property Network. So do plug into all the trainings that we have available. And Nick mentioned one of them already, which is the Rent to Rent Property Wealth Accelerator. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.